Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining in. We're going to have some fun today. We're talking about one of my favorite bands, Leprous. I know it's one of Simon's favorite bands too. So
Yep.
I'm excited about this one. This was really cool.
Yeah,
We
man.
are time zones and time meters. For anyone that's watching, doesn't know us, hasn't tuned in before, we waffle a little bit, but today we're exploring the entire discography of this pretty insane band, right? How would
Yeah,
you
yeah.
describe them, Simon? How would you describe them?
Well, it is. Well, yeah. I would say you would call this a third generation progressive metal band. I would say. I mean, they are. I mean, now I'm going to expose our age a little bit, but they are our age. So, so but they debuted when they were very young. So, they formed in 2001. So then they were teenagers.
Yep.
But yeah, 8 years later they debuted, and well, I think their sound has been very significant or like very influential for a lot of bands, especially Scandinavian bands that followed them, like that came later. So like the fourth generation and so on of the progressive metal. And yeah, they released 8 albums,
Yeah,
and there are
only.
two guys that
Yeah, I
are
was just about to say.
consistent. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
going to say there's two guys that have been there from the beginning. And then we've got a few later additions. And I think that's why the sound has changed a little bit. The direction's a little bit different too, right?
Probably that's usually the case, yeah. So Einar Solberg, the singer, and guitarist Tor Oddmund Surke are the
Oh,
two fixed.
thank God I'm not pronouncing the names. I'm going to butcher them if I use them and anyone's watching. Like, I have utmost respect for these people, but yeah.
I don't know if that is what's gonna upset people. I saw we've done two of these discographies before. We've done the Riverside discography
Yeah.
and the Soen discography. I would say if you like these bands, check those
Yep.
that out as well. And you can see on the statistics if someone subscribed or unsubscribed during, and someone unsubscribed during the Riverside episode. And like we said up front, we might upset some fans because at least I don't know how you came in on the Leprous one because I came kind of in on the back end of Leprous. I known about them for 10 years, but I didn't really check out the discography until their release of their latest album.
Yeah, okay.
What
Um,
what's
I
your
first
relationship?
I first saw them in at a prog festival. I think it was in 2018, 2019, around that time period. I did a little bit of checking in on them and thought, oh, I'm not sure about this. And then when I turned up to Prog Fest that year, they blew me away, like blew me
Right.
away. And then after
Yeah.
that, we have been a fan since. So that
So they were
means
basically touring Malina at the.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what they were touring. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
All right.
So
Yeah.
so
Cool.
that was where I sort of jumped in on it. And yeah, it's been, look, this is a great band, a really fantastic band, and a really, really difficult discography to actually rank. And when we
Yeah.
made the decision to do this, I thought, oh, that's good. It'll give me an excuse to replay some of their older stuff, which I might not have been as familiar with, because it was the more recent albums that I'd sort of was very, very familiar with. And dude, it made it even more difficult.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah. Otherwise, it
God.
would be easy. You would just put those in the far end, and
Yeah,
then.
that's the thing. And so I kind of sitting there going, oh, what do I do now? So anyway, I can't wait to, we'll obviously talk about that a little bit
Well,
too.
you want to kick it off with the
Oh,
oldest one, with the
I
first
was
one,
just I was just
2009.
gonna probably just gonna say, for those that don't know, this band, in my opinion, has like one of the greatest vocalists of all time, like in any band ever. Like, how did you pronounce his name? I call him Einar, but you say
Einar, but
Einar.
yeah,
And also one of the best drummers, I think, in the world, which is Bård Kolstad, I think it's pronounced. But I
yeah,
call him Bard because I'm Australian. Um,
Bard,
I think
Bard,
it's I think it's
Bard,
I think it's
Bard.
Bård. I think it's pronounced
Is,
Bård. But anyway, who cares? Doesn't matter. Regardless, I think one of the greatest drummers of all time as well. And that's not any slight on the other band members who are also incredibly talented musicians. But these two individuals are just off the charts for me, off the charts. And so I think if you're going to set a precedent, this is going to be a hard act to beat, generally speaking, you know.
Bars, however, not on the Tall Poppy Syndrome from 2009.
Correct. He only came in, if I remember, in 2014. So he came in a
Yeah.
bit later. But the drums before that were also very good.
Yes. What are you? So let me know. What's your opinion on the Tall Poppy Syndrome, the
Okay,
debut?
let's start with Tall Poppy. I think to me, because this one I was least familiar with, and for those that don't know, I'm not the biggest harsh vocal guy, so it means that I always kind of steered away from this album a little bit. And as much as I've been trying as much as possible to really get into, you know, harder vocals of late, it meant that I'd kind of avoided this completely. But I gave it a really good crack, and over the last what 3 weeks, I've given this many plays, and I'd say that it's a good solid album. As well as that, I think it's got some really key sort of leprous divining kind of things like that defines Leprous, but it's kind of the seeds are being planted, and so you can see as the discography goes on, like where they kind of grow and where they go. And this is a really good. Look, they had some awesome ideas. I think that's and they really do deliver on a few tracks, which I quite like.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? What were your initial thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's very different. I mean, it is it is a very youthful. Like it's very aggressive, and it's like they really want to show off their skills. You know, they start with um, like odd time meter and syncopated grooves and yeah, harsh vocals already in the first chorus. And he kind of with the harsh vocals, it's like it's almost as much a part of it as the clean vocals with this record. And I think I don't mind the harsh vocals. It both tries to do a Åkerfeldt Opeth impression as well as Fridén from In Flames. It's like trying both of those styles. And I mean, it's not that that's bad. It's just that when he sings, he does that job way better. So it's you know it's not per se bad that it's harsh. It's just that his you know what he is triumphant in is the clean stuff,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. I think, you know, there's I don't know how to put it, but the harsh vocals, you know, not the deep like whoa 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 ones, but you know, like the higher pitched like
Mm.
shrieking kind of stuff, dude, that's blood curdling. Like I think it is one of the more palatable screams that I've heard in that sort of area, especially because he tends to use it as a sort of means of like expressing himself. Like he finally is just like,
Yeah,
ah, you know,
yeah. It
and I,
fits. It fits excellent to the music. And I mean, it is a very harsh album, and but also that said, I mean, it has loungy jazz sections as well.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, and I'm not. I don't know if this deduces any points from it. It's more like an observation. But um, I mean, Einar has when he speaks, he has you clearly hear that he's from Norway. Uh,
Right.
he talks like this when you know, and in this album he also kind of sings like that. You kind of hear that it's a Norwegian guy singing, which you don't hear on the later albums. But yeah, no, in total, I mean, I enjoy this album a lot, but I have it as my number 6.
I've got it as number 8, so it's
All right.
last for me out of 8.
Mm.
This one's the one that I look. It's and don't get me wrong, I'd still rank this as an album that would be in the good tier. Like that's where I put it.
Yeah.
Definitely in the good tier, but it's just not quite as impressive. I think there's some real standout tracks in it as well, which are quite good. I think the one that amazed me that I've now added to my sort of Leprous list was I quite liked. Passing, I quite like, which is the opening track. I also like the closer, White. I thought that was a sensational, like really good song. And the other one that I thought was worth mentioning was, what's that? Dare You, which is the more instrumental one, the third one, which I just thought was a really fantastic piece of work. So within this, like, there's some really good stuff too, but I would rank this at 8. So you said 6, you said?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. There you go.
And yeah,
shall we
so
move
a
on?
couple of years later, they took some time because the next album is from 2011,
Mm-hmm.
Bilateral, and to me, this album is the Sophomore Slump. This is my least favorite one.
Oh my God.
Uh, so it's fun because obviously we have different opinions here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think it's a little bit like hysterical, loud, and obnoxious. I have to say that drumming is great, despite Bard not being on it. But to me, there's no real bangers on here. I prefer the first album over this one. Maybe I need to hear it more. Who knows? Um, I mean, admittedly, having around a year to listen to all these albums maybe are not enough. But you can always, yeah, I can just speak for how far this album has gotten to me at least, and it has gotten the least far of these. But you enjoyed it, Josh.
So it's interesting because this was the album that I played least. So I tried Tall Poppy a long while ago, and then I jumped into Bilateral and was like, nah, I'm not so sure. I'm not so big on it. And then leading up to this, I thought I really should give this some stuff. And I think this is the sleeper I didn't know existed. I think this is one of the most consistent albums that they have. So I don't think it's got, I think you're right.
I agree,
That,
but consistently
well,
not satisfied.
well, that's the thing is like, I think it's really, like, really good across the board. I don't think there's anything that makes me go, holy shit, like this is this is like,
Yeah.
great Leprous. But I'd still say, like, what's that? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got like 4 songs that I think are really great. Like, they're great songs. They're better than good. And so
Hmm.
I think, to me anyway, they're stronger than probably the songs on Tall Poppy as well. I quite like the opener. I thought Bilateral was really good. It was a great, like, energetic start. I liked the closer on this one even more. Like, I thought the closer, Painful Detour, was really sensational. I think it was it one of them, I think it's Mediocrity Wins. I thought was starting, and it was like, oh yeah, it's a bit mediocrity. But then when it finishes, I just am like, no, I take that all back. And just listing over and over and over, I think there's a lot of stuff that you kind of pick out of it, and that definitely happened with me on this too. So look, I've got this one at number 5. What have you got this one at? You said 8, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah, all right. There you go. So
Crazy.
I think I would consider this for 4th, maybe, and like maybe 4th. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 5th. Yeah.
All right. So
Next. Yeah.
not lower echelon, the higher echelon. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2013 and Chronic, a big fan favorite,
Cold?
I think.
Do you
This
mean
one and the
Cold?
next one. Sorry?
You
Cold.
said,
Yeah,
you
sorry.
said,
Chronic is a track from it.
that's right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cole's many people's favorite one, isn't it? I think Bilateral has a lot of fans as well, but Cole has a lot of fans as well.
Yeah.
You start with this one. I'll do the start with the next
All
one.
right. Well, I mean, this one is it's very Devin Townsend sounding, I think, and especially that was why I had a note about Chronic, that track, because I think that one really sounds like something with Devin Townsend, which, I mean, it's not usually not a derogatory something, but to me it kind of is. I never got hooked on Devin Townsend. I don't know why. I heard his stuff like 20 years, maybe 25 years ago, even when he was in the Strapping Young Lad, or when he had that project, and ongoing since. And I've tried to enjoy it, but I just don't. So I also, there's a lot of stuff on this album that I also don't quite enjoy. But also, I think this album has some of their absolute peaks. Ironically, they have their peaks with The Valley, the song The Valley, with those super cool staccato rhythms on a killer chorus, which I think is like what they do so great, that they can have this complex stuff with a killer chorus in combination at the same time. And it's like, if you take that chorus, or like the second chorus where they really go all out, and you can use that for testing your earphones. If that doesn't blow you away, you need different earphones, because it's insane how that is sounding. It does something with your ears, right?
Yeah. It's a great point. Probably that one of the best things about this band is, for me, the ebbs and flows. They're very, very good at soft. They're very good at like melancholy. They're great at like tempo changes. They're great at contrast. They have hooky choruses. They have like soul shattering, like, you know, like cries to the heavens. Like, it's got, this band is so like this. It's one of my favorite features about them. And I would agree that both The Valley and the other big one for me is The Cloak. Like, they're back to back, right? Like, they go one after another. And I would say they're both like, they're like S tier kind of songs. They're two of right up there with my favorites. And also Echo.
Yes,
Right?
Echo.
Like, so this album has
the intro there is how they try different things.
It's great.
Super cool song.
And they create space, and they've got these great hooks, and then they've got this like drama, and you know, like these are good tracks. And again, it makes it really difficult to rank this.
I had problems with this one.
When I cut you off, were you going to say anything else?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I've got this ranked at 6th.
Okay.
Because they have those 2 or 3 songs that I freaking love, but also they've got like 1, 2, 3 songs that I think are just good. And they get a bit too harsh in some ways. Like, some parts of it I just don't enjoy. I don't like, I do like it, but I would say that if we're talking about all of their stuff, I'm not a big fan of Contaminate Me. As much as I like Isan, like the fact that they're relatives and they're, you know, like they're bringing in another vocalist. I think, to me, Contaminate Me is just too much. I would say I don't enjoy that track very much. And there's 1 or 2 others on here as well, which I think are just a little less likable, you know, compared to many of the other albums. So because its highs are so high and its lows are just slightly below the average, where do you put it? But yeah, so I went 6. Where did you put it at?
Yeah, so this was in this could have been almost my number 2, but there's it's a very even fight between a couple of albums there, so it actually is my number 4.
Your number 4.
And I would use the same reasoning as you do. I guess Echo and Echo and The Valley are like those, one of their best moments, I would say. But as a whole album, it's number 4. It's the middle of the.
I had to pull all of the guns out when doing this discography. Like, I had to break down the songs. I rated every song that they've ever done. I'm not joking. I actually rated every song. I gave them like a value. I compared how many on each album had better ones. I added up the ranks of them total on each album to see which one had the highest scores. And then I thought about, like, is this a consistent themed album, or is it like, where is the minimum bar? What's the average like? Like, dude, I went to town. And I really enjoyed the geeking out of it, actually. However, that's just its up and downy nature is why it just dropped to 6th for me, which is still a great album.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Congregation.
Yeah.
The Congregation. Okay, where do I begin? This this album is amazing. I don't know. I think this album is absolutely their number one album. Oh no, I'm gonna no. I'll go. Oh, no, I'm not going to go number one. It's their number two album.
Okay.
Yeah, they're number two. I think this one I was very, very, very like on edge about. But I'm going to say the number two album just because of consistency. But it does have what would be like my favorite probably songs on it as well. I love The Price. I love Rewind. I love Slave. Red's good. The Third Law's good. Like this is a really, really, really good album. Yeah, I have to put. I thought I was going to put this at number one actually, and I did a change in the end. I did a change at the end. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm going. I'm going to go with this one being my number two.
And now I'm gonna make the talk that makes us lose subscribers. Maybe I don't know, because indeed this is a big fan favorite. I like it. I like it. I think that it opens up like the opening three tracks. It's like it's like DJ Khaled, another one. It's just a killer after killer track. You're like, oh, what is this? Um, so the Price, Third Law, Rewind. I think they're all
The
bangers.
flood straight afterwards really good as well, and it's been on lots of my playlists. So I'd say
Yeah,
the first four songs for me
yeah.
are all
And of course, Slave,
yeah.
a song that and I have to say, Slave is uh, like how I discovered Leprous was when they because after this album they did a live DVD
Oh yeah,
of
yeah, like the live
yeah,
at the Rockefeller or whatever it's called.
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and that's kind of popped up in my YouTube, or like autoplay on YouTube. Uh, so in 2016, I believe that was this album is from 2015, and I was like amazed. Wow, holy crap! It sounds so good. It's the singing and the instrumentation. It's emotional and it's technical. It got everything. I was really really amazed by it, and then it like baffles me how I didn't come to check them out properly until there was some hype about them releasing a new album 2 years ago.
Mm.
But no, sorry, last year. But I think that there is some filler stuff on this album, or some stuff that is not really up there, or maybe it's the comparison to these tracks that we mentioned. So for
Yeah.
me, in the end, um, and this is really, it was so difficult to rank, but I ended up with number five. That when I think about it, it's like, yeah, this could also have been number four.
Yeah.
But then I would have to put Cole at number five. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. For now, today, this is my number five.
It's
Ask
the
me
other thing.
tomorrow, it's my number four, or maybe
That's right.
number three. Huh?
Exactly. It does look after Slave, it does go to like Moon, Down, and Lower. And those three songs I think are just good songs. But
Mm.
the highs of the first half are undeniably good. Excuse me. Yeah, so I don't know that. Oh, they're just so good. They're best. I think the Leprous's best stuff, if I made a top 10, would feature like four of the songs from this album, maybe three. So
Yeah,
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 anyway,
possible.
but I totally get you as well. I also like the change of pace. One thing that I do like about Leprous is when they decide to increase the pace. I think they do a really good job of it. So
Yeah,
they do really slow stuff, fantastic, but I enjoy that like Rewind. I love the drumming in Rewind, like oh my God. And the Price has also got some really spectacular stuff in it. So,
yeah.
um, but yeah, anyway, all right. So the Congregation, well, we're actually at odds a fair bit through this, so this is great. Which means, here's the best part, Simon. There'll be people that'll go like, Josh has like got no idea, and then afterwards they'll be like, Simon has no idea, and but there's bound to be somebody out there who's like, yeah, I agree with half what Josh says and half what Simon says, surely. Um,
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna guess that the next album, because of usually it is where you get into to a band, that will be the era that you like the most, like traditionally. But yeah, I certainly did not get into the next album, Malina from 2017. Um, I like
I'm
at
giving you a
all.
poker face at the moment. I'm giving you a poker face. I don't want to give away anything. You keep going.
No, yeah. Uh, so well, and so this is where it gets controversial. I mean, I don't know. I don't really think that this album has any bangers. It's I mean it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't have that big release moment that I have with the other albums. I do prefer it over Bilateral, but it's Malina is I don't have too much to say about it because I just don't fancy it that much. Even though I like it, but I want to put on the other albums instead. So I mean, this is my number seven. Yeah, I'm terribly sorry.
Simon,
And now
Simon, 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 Simon. All right. Well,
now the friendship ends.
no, no, no. I was going to say this might be where it starts, my friend, or really blossoms, because I gave it seventh as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
gave it seventh, and that remember it like Tall Poppy's just not my jam. Like, so I would say this is probably it's my least favorite Leprous album.
I'm shocked. Okay.
I kind of count Tall
Despite you
Poppy.
saw them on touring this album. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So it's really interesting because the thing that okay, From the Flame, 4/4 chorus, like it's like standard array. It is the poppiest, most structured thing they've ever done, right? In terms
Mhm.
of like the way that they built the song, and it freaking rocks. Like From the Flame is one of those songs that like everybody sings along to. If somebody said, what's Leprous like, I'd probably chuck that on if it was at a barbecue or something, and I know I wouldn't offend everyone. There's heaps of people that'd be like, oh my god, they're really cool. So I want to give props to that song because it is the most
Accessible?
yeah, it's accessible, but it's done in a way
Accessible.
that just makes you go like, that's not leprous, but it's leprous.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
kind of like the fact that they mixed it up a little bit too. But on the whole, like this album for me is just a constant like, yep, I'd say that's good, 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 but I don't get into it. I struggle to really, really get into it. And the other thing about it that's interesting for me is that like, I don't like the sound as much. Like I love their like boom, like deep, dark, like stuff that comes out, but this has like an indie vibe to me. And that's not where my ear likes to go. And so I like it because it's leprous and it's better than probably anything that sounds like that to me. Like it's just better than anything that would sound like that. But for leprous, I have to rate this like too low. I think, or not too low, but there's just like better than good, good, better than good,
It's
good.
not epic enough.
But the best if the best song on it is their most formulaic, then I
Yeah.
think that's like lost me a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and don't
I
get me
get
wrong,
you.
like I
All
love
right.
syncopation, I love like the rhythm changes, I love Bord's drumming, I love so many things about it that just make me go, oh, that's so interesting with what's going on. Like, how are they doing this? But yeah, I'm not going to rabbit on too much. I rated this a better than good album, like on my
Yeah.
big board of all albums against each other. But to me, it's seventh place.
All right. All right. And I believe this is kind of a fan favorite as well. So I'm curious what the.
What I think of the next one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So and then we go to 2019's their third latest,
Yeah,
Pitfalls.
yeah. Okay,
If
I'll
you
lead
want.
then, shall we?
Yeah.
This is my number one. This is my number one. This is their most high level consistent, I think, album. It's got my highest scores across the board. It's got what, 1, 2, 3 really, really good songs in it. Specifically, like I really love Below. Hold on, I should actually pull up the list of stuff that's on here. So Pitfalls. Let's have a look. Yeah, Below, I Lose Hope. Look, Alleviate is one of those songs that I just want to hear people who can sing really well have a go at trying to sing it. And I enjoy singing along to it. You know, like it's basically like vocal gymnastics. I think Distant Bells is good, and The Sky is Red is an S tier song. Like Pitfalls has some, it's good. It's
Funny.
good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I know many people didn't like the direction they started to go, but to me, I did.
Yeah. Look, this album is a killer. It's
Okay.
it's yeah. And I mean, I like my prog catchy, and boy, do they deliver bangers here. And I mean, Alleviate, I mentioned it before. This is like their peak of what they do so great with Alleviate, especially. It's like, or it's like the perfect example of what they do so great, because they you have this killer chorus once again, and then they put this killer chorus that everyone, it's so catchy, everyone can sing along with it, and then he just starts going syncopated, you know. So like you can just be amazed of the drumming there, and while still being super catchy, everyone can still sing along, even though he's doing gymnastics with the drums there. And that to me, but I mean, it's not only that. So what you said, you also mentioned Distant Bells, right? It's first beautiful, and then it's catchy. Um, I think maybe that Foreigner ventures a bit too far into pop territory, but then you have the finisher, Sky is Red, that makes up for that.
Yeah.
So it's and what's also great with this album, with its like two worlds meet in perfect combination, is that even though Einar, his vocals is the unique selling point of this band a lot, it's still very focused on the instrumentation. So it's like both of these things, both the instruments and the vocals, are at their peak. Whatever you like about this band, you will get satisfied with, I would say, regarding this. This is also my numero
Oh,
uno.
it's your number one too. I think
Yeah,
what you were saying before, I think you're right. Like Below is a good example for me. It has that slow start. And this Below is a song that I would recommend to people straight away. I would say, you want to hear music I love, Below's one. It starts off with that slow intro. He's got Einar's favorite, my favorite thing about his vocal register is not his falsetto. Funnily enough, I much prefer his like deep chest voice. And when he just starts off with like, you know, whatever the opening line is, I think it gives most people goosebumps, especially with a good pair of headphones on. And so, and then as it sort of launches into this like such a heavy beginning, it's just so emotional. Then it goes to this like jazzy, swingy, like kind of like section of the song. And I just go like, what the hell did they just do there? Like, and then to make that work and then like launch back into the crushing like heights of his voice on the chorus again is, I think it's spectacular. And I think it's such a good example of what they do well. You know, The Sky of Red takes it in like another direction. I think it takes into their proggier side, you know, with the slow down, you know, that kind of thing, and stuff. It's great. But this album as well, for those that are out there that haven't gone onto YouTube and just looked up Leprous, just look at Leprous React videos, and anything that has Below, anything that has Alleviate, anything that has The Sky of Red, just watch it. You watch a drummer react to The Sky is Red, and you'll be captivated because Bord has some like playthroughs that you can watch him like on his set, like playing it. And if you do like below, you know, just some random dudes listening to it with headphones on a music channel, they just sit there with their mouths on the ground going, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't know anybody who has done a live reacts to these Leprous songs that are on this and gone, yeah, I can live on, you know, let it go. Like
Yeah, right.
it's
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours of watching them. Have you seen the charismatic voice? I think her name is. She's a very popular like vocalist. Who?
Yeah, I've seen some of his content. It's not my cup of tea.
But the thing is that she's done a thing of like,
Oh, that's her. Oh, sorry,
no,
I'm
no, it's
confusing. Yeah,
somebody
okay. Yeah,
else.
I've seen her too. Yeah, yeah, okay.
And
I
I'm not
appreciate her more.
suggesting,
Yeah.
yeah, because there's a lot of people out there that do it too. But she's like, she's not bad. Like, I don't think she's great. She's a little bit annoying occasionally. Like, she goes off on her things. However, when she listens to this guy's voice, she's like, what? Hold on. What is this? And is just like spellbound. You know, I remember that they've done the Slave live at the Rockefeller one that you mentioned, and that's amazing. And I just shared today on Instagram when I saw Leprous last year, they played it. So I got my chance to like listen to one of my favorite songs of all time be played live, and was just a flawless rendition, like flawless. He sounds like he sounds. So anyway,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
awesome.
That's the congregation. Like, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, great. Check this album out if you haven't.
Yeah,
It also, I think, is the beginning of their next journey. So I think
yeah.
I would say
We
like
hear some more electronic stuff in
his
here.
his
Yeah,
vocals are a little bit more pronounced, a little bit more of the centerpiece as well. You know, like
yeah,
and they start to change their sound a little bit from that, you know, heavier metal to more Leprous. You know, like
yeah,
what they've become. You know.
yeah.
All right, so let's move on to is it pronounced Aphelion?
I think so.
Yeah,
Or Aphelion. Yeah,
Aphelion. Okay.
Aphelion. Yeah.
Uh, let's lead with you with this one. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much that I have to say about this album, and that has not been said other ways. I mean, it is indeed the next step. He's more centerpiece with his voice here.
Yep.
I mean, he's displaying a range, maybe the biggest range even on this album, I think, because he goes from the angelic opera stuff all the way to the harsh. I mean, there's great melodies. Once again, with like really catchy stuff, which the first time you hear it, you think, huh, I heard this song. This is a classic, right? And oh no, I haven't heard it before. But it just, you know, they could win Eurovision with a song time they release an album. You know, that's how catchy it is. But yeah, and I mean, stylistically, it's not too different from Pitfalls, and I have it up there in my top albums. Um, yeah, to me, I think it's only overshadowed by Pitfalls. But once again, like it's really is competing against Cole and um, yeah, well, the other album
You haven't mentioned
that
yet.
I have left. So it's a really tough competition there. I think this ends up as my second favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. When I first heard this song, so Malina was released when I first accessed them. After that, I was pretty excited for the next one. They dropped, if I remember, Castaway Angels as a single. And dude, like that freaking track is mind-blowingly good. Like, it's just so good. I've played that song to death and I still could listen to it over and over. It's a goosebump, like acoustic masterpiece. It builds so beautifully. It's one of the best crescendos, I think, of any song I've heard. Like, it's just built so beautifully. And I think the drumming in it is so subtly brilliant as well. And it's something that's worth like going back to for those that have heard the song and just listening to the drumming piece that's behind it. So I think the fact that that was released, and then when they dropped the album, I just ended up feeling a little bit like, oh. And I don't think it's a slight on the album at all. I just think that single was so good for me. I expected a more acoustic Leprous for some reason. And so what we got was like, what is this song? And I thought it was okay. And I thought it had some good things, like I think it was the Silent Revelation stood out heaps, and so did Nighttime Disguise, and a few of the other sort of things on it, which are good tracks. I think the opening track was good, like Running Low as well. But the thing about it was I didn't click. And so when we've gone back into this, like, let's do the discography of Leprous, says Simon, like, I went back into it and went, oh, fuck, this is so much better than I thought it was. And so then I've got Bilateral, and I've got Aphelion, and then I've got Cole, and they're all just like, they're all so similar in that, like, they're so different, but they're so similar in terms of like how good they are, just in totally different ways. And so Cole has the heights that I just go, shit, like how good is this? And then and Bilateral's just consistent across the board. And so I've kind of there going like, where do I put it? Where do I put it? And I put in fourth. So it's like a close Bilateral, Aphelion, and the last album are really close for me. And they're hard for me to differentiate.
Look, I have it as number 2, but it could have also ended up being number 4.
Yeah. And so I think that's the thing, is this one's really close. And the reason that it edges out Bilateral for me is because of Castaway Angels. And it doesn't, but then the thing that makes me pull it down slightly is Castaway Angels has no right to be on this album. It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like, from a musical point of view, like Castaway Angels to me is just, it doesn't fit the album itself. So that, like, that's how nuanced I was getting. Like, I'm like, I have to give it down a point. Then I'm like, but I have to give it more points. And then it's like this. So, anyway, long story short, I love it. I think it's a great album. I really do think it's a great album as well. And it's really close for me, but it's come in at fourth.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we come to their last entry, or their latest entry.
Yeah.
Melodies of Atonement, released last fall.
Yeah.
Or at least fall for us in the northern hemisphere. Was spring for you? Is it? Do you call it spring?
Yeah, we spring is warm. Yeah. Autumn is what we call fall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. So it was released in October, I think. Last October. Or was it August?
Oh, I don't know.
September.
Yeah, it feels like around that time.
Yeah. And this to me, this was like an album that now that I've been in this really nerding myself down in music again, there was like one of the first albums now that I really anticipated. It was like, oh, look, Leprous is releasing a new album. Let's check that out, you know. And then I was counting down the days a little bit. I got excited for it, which I have not done in years and years. And because I heard the singles, like I really loved the single, the first single, Atonement. Yeah, I thought it was like it really had some innovative stuff, especially the guitar work there on the and it is especially if you hadn't heard the previous albums leading up to it, it's very innovative and so I got psyched for this, and then I think that I got a little bit the impression with this album is that, you know, Phil Collins in The Air Tonight?
Oh yeah.
There is like a build up, and then the song gets going, and then it ends. It's like you only have this build up, build up, build up, and then it fades out. It's like, oh, the song has just got going, and now it fades out. And that's a little bit what they do. It's okay with In the Air Tonight, but they do it, kind of do it with every song on this album, I think. So that is like what I think is a little bit the downside. They just do a build up and a build up and a build up, and then it ends, or you just get going and then it ends. And that's a little bit what I think is the difference with Aphelion, whatever. That there, it's I think a little bit of a
They hold on to
faster
the,
pace.
yeah, it's faster paced, but they hold on to like the key thing that you
Yeah,
love
yeah,
for a bit
exactly,
longer.
exactly. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we look at the time here. We need to end this song in 2 minutes. Okay, okay, one last chorus. But um, so even though they really have these slow build-ups, so that I think is a little bit what takes it away. I think what I hear is the criticism from a lot of fans when I saw the discussions about this album. I think most fans were a bit disappointed. They were like, because I understand it. You have these super musicians. It's not only Einar with his vocals, but I mean, especially of course, everybody loves Bard, right? And it's a little bit like, okay, did they, except for that fancy chorus on Atonement, what do the guitarists do here? Like, did they? It's a little bit. You have all these potential that they maybe don't fulfill. People want more complex stuff, and this album maybe doesn't really deliver on the complexity.
Yeah.
And the aggression is not so present on this album. Um, that said, I really like this album. I think that it has really good songs on it. And I mean, maybe I'm also a little bit biased because this is the album that, like, since I'm a new Leprous friend, relatively speaking, that I got the most memories to this album,
Mm.
because I recently got into them. So maybe I also listened the very most to this album. Um, yeah, but I see the criticism as well. I so eventually this ended up then as my number three. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting you say all of that stuff because I know where you're coming from for sure. I never really thought about the build-ups and the early cut-offs or anything, so I'm going to give it another go maybe after this just to
It's a
check
little
out.
bit ruined orgasm.
No, who knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
but in saying it, like I heard a lot of there was so much excitement about it, and they did this whole like the growls are back. Did you see that? So when they were releasing this, they did this big like the growls are back, like let's go,
Oh,
and
there's
so
one.
there's
There's
only
one
one.
girl then.
And so I
Yeah.
think that's what pissed everyone off is because they were thinking like, oh, we're going to get a hardcore, like, like leprous like thing. And there's only one. And so I
Yeah.
think that's what
Which is,
turned,
by the way, an awesome. It's like their best, but it is only one.
yeah, yeah. And so it's funny because this album I listened to and I was like, I don't know what to think of this. I did a one playthrough of the whole thing and just went, shit, they've just underwhelmed me. That's what I thought. And so I gave it time and gave it thought. And, I was talking to a few friends who are big Leprous fans. And I always quote him, but he was a friend of mine who loves the band as well. And he's just like, nope, you have to give it time. Like, I've loved this band for 20 years, Josh, or however long we've been around for. He's just like 15 years. You just got to, like, just give it time. Like, I never judge anything until I've played it 100,000 times. And the interesting thing is that this is where his perspective totally was right. Because this was such just a slow little grower, like it just consistently kind of got better and better. But the more listens I had, the more intricate I believe this album is.
Yeah.
And so I think it's accessible, it's easy to hear, it's easy to listen to. I think they're going down a new wave kind of soundscape and feel, which to me kind of talks of Like it's polished as hell, and it's simple, and it's definitely the Einar show. I would agree with comments that say that as well. But he's
Yeah.
amazing. But the thing is that like Bored within it is like the drumming and the rhythm and everything else is so perfectly
I mean, they all do it to
complementary.
serve the songs, right?
It's so complimentary, and I just think that that's what I love about it. And there's so much intricacy in it that people might not realize.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think if you are a real like aficionado of anything that sounds like progressive, for anyone who has that kind of ear, sometimes it doesn't need to be jarring. And to tell you the truth, like the less jarring it is, probably the more I am learning to appreciate these kind of genres. If you can make something sound like it is a continuous, beautiful song, but have like all of these little layers that people can discover as you're listening to it, that helps facilitate the pacing, then like let's go. Like that's where it's
Yeah,
at. And so I think
yeah,
they do a really good job. And this album is just fucking consistently better than good.
yeah.
Like it's just better than good, great, better than good, better than good, good, better than good, better than good, like great. It's just the whole album to me just has this better than good, like I would go as far as saying like this is a great, across the board. And so I get why people might want more. It's not their punchiest album. It's not their like most groundbreaking. It doesn't have a Sky is Red on it. It doesn't have a Slave on it. It doesn't have a, you know, I don't know, Below. It doesn't have alleviated vocals, but fuck, it's got some great stuff on it too. And the Sunken Ship, which is the growly one, that's a freaking banger. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
if anyone wants to argue that that's not a good song, like we don't agree with the
yeah,
music. And I think, and I'm not even a harsh vocal guy, as I said, but that's when I love harsh vocals.
yeah, yeah.
You
That's
get
a
me
prime
pumped.
example of yeah.
It's the build, it's the this, it's the what's going on with this song. It's a little bit slow at first, and then all of a sudden you just hear that like throaty like
Yeah,
yell first, and then you're like, oh, it gets your goosebumps rising, and
yeah,
then like just one repetition of the chorus later, he just goes, bah, and you're just like, whoa. So
yeah.
like it's just that song to me has like goosebump
That
moment.
growl is really
Holy shit.
quality over quantity. Yeah, yeah,
And that's
yeah,
what I want. Like I don't want to be blasted for 4 minutes of screaming in my ears, but I am 100% fine with something that's like that. So I don't know. So I've got that at 3 as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Funny
with
how I thought it would be really the opposites here, but we really
it's weird. Like, and again, if anyone's watched our stuff before, we don't talk about these deliberately. Like, I sent Simon a picture of my spreadsheet, but I blacked out the names of everything so he could just see like what I'd like that I'd put a lot into this. And it's really weird. So we've matched on Malina. We both gave it a 7. We both gave Pitfalls #1, and we gave Melodies of Atonement through a third. So that's pretty similar.
yeah.
And we said it was pretty close as well between our sort of 4th, 5th,
Yeah,
and
my position 2 till 4 is basically even Steven.
mm, yeah, and a lot of mine was just on the like consistency was the thing that I had to rank it higher or lower on, or if it was a really high, I gave it a bit of extra as well. So
So for the record here, um, well, my list is so Pitfalls, Aphelion,
yep,
Melodies of Atonement,
yep,
Cole, and the Congregation,
yep,
Tall Poppy Syndrome, Malina, and last Bilateral.
correct. And
And
mine
and
was
yours is?
Pitfalls, followed by The Congregation. Then that was followed by Melodies of Atonement. Then that was followed by Aphelion. Then that after that came Bilateral. It was close. Then after that was Cole. Oh, then after that was Melina, and then Tall Poppy was last.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
it,
I think like even how even it was. I think yeah, I can stand by my list choices.
yeah, and I think
I even feel you should never have to adjust your choices on what other people think, but you kind of confirm my my thoughts that I'm not completely out there.
Yeah. But also too, there's a good point here is that like we have a little bit of different reasoning, you know, behind what we've done, but we've obviously picked up on some really similar notes throughout the albums, and we've established what we believe are the best highs and lows of this pretty amazing band, and we agree that what they're so good at, right?
Yeah.
Or at least from my notes that I've just written down here as we've gone, that's what sort of comes up. And the other thing that I think's interesting is that for me, I think Bilateral will probably go up and down with a little bit more replays over time as well. Like I think I've got to give that time, and probably, to tell you the truth, I might need to give Aphelion a bit more time as well, because I could be on a little bit of a high because they're kind of like newly, like really closely looked into it, and so I'm like, oh, is that a little bit higher than what I think it is, or is it lower? And it's just going to keep growing up the list. So, you know, these are all moving, but at this time on the 9th of the 6th, 2025, this is where my standings are. And yes, us in Australia say 9th of the 6th, not the 6th of the 9th for June.
Ah, yeah.
What do you do in Holland?
Well, I guess ninth of the 6th. Yeah. I mean, we do it 9/6/2025. Yeah.
Okay, so you're the same.
But in Sweden it's But I wonder if no, exactly. Yeah, day, month, year for sure. Yeah. The other thing I think is just
crazy. They're all crazy.
Weird. Yeah.
People that do it.
Yeah. Why you have to go from small to big and not toss it around.
Right. If you guys have tuned in long enough to hear us rabbit on about Leprous for this amount of time, you're either a die-hard fan or of Leprous, right? Or maybe you like our wanderings. If you could do us a favor, like, subscribe, follow us, comment on the content, reach out to us on Instagram. You can find me at The Prog Wanderer. You can find Simon at Simon's Album Reviews. We would love to hear from you. And also, if you want to disagree with us and tell us why, then I'm always happy to listen too.
And next week we're going for part 2 of the South America special, our favorite Latin bands. Yeah,
should be pretty exciting. Should be good.
Yeah.
I'm very, very keen to talk about some of the things that I've explored over the last month or two. I've sort of been dipping in a little bit into the realm, and yeah, I'm excited.
And then we have our guest Lupe from Peru, from the Musical Puzzle, joining us.
Yeah,
very watched.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. How's about we call it there, Simon? And yeah, until we meet again next week, peace out. Enjoy your music, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.
Peace.